We're glad you're up with us here on 13 Center. As you look at downtown Indianapolis, you can't see the temperature, so we can just tell you, just trust us. It is a lot cooler than yesterday.
It certainly is, and that transition started even before darkness set in yesterday. So much cooler temperatures, kind of an up and down week. But welcome in here at 6 o'clock on your Monday morning. Certainly hope you had a great weekend and enjoyed the nearly 90-degree temperature we reached yesterday.
I'm like, am I over-exaggerating that I'm outside in a tank top? Maybe I just got a little bit too excited, but we were close to 90 yesterday.
Yeah, we were hoping to spend most of the afternoon outside. We had to keep kind of going back inside, a little break every once in a while. It was hot, smashed the record. The record was 82, which was already very hot. 88 degrees yesterday. Now we're sitting in the 30s.
Okay.
It's a 50-degree temperature drop if you haven't calculated.
Buckling up for the up and down for a little bit?
All week long.
Okay.
We've honestly had a lot of ups and downs all March, and that's just going to continue. Now, at least the weather is mostly quiet this morning. Yeah, there are some low clouds. We've had a little bit of drizzle out there this morning, and in some places, as the temperatures get down into the low 30s, don't be surprised if it's not just drizzle, but maybe a stray snowflake flying around. You could get a little bit of a light misty shower or maybe even a stray flurry out there this morning with those stiff north winds gusting up to 30 to 35 miles per hour. If you turn up the resolution a little bit on Live Doppler 13, a little bit of patchy mist and maybe a stray snowflake around Muncie. Every once in a while you can see a little bit of blue in some of these bands. That's just a stray snowflake every once in a while for Henry County, Rush, and Decatur counties. A little bit farther to the east as well. You don't see it as much, but we do have a little bit of patchy mist reporting around Wayne County and farther south around Connorsville and south about Batesville or so. But right now here in Indy, mostly cloudy. You could get a stray raindrop, but look at some of these winds out here. Sustained here on the left, what you're constantly moving at. The ones with the G, that shows you the gust out there this morning, 20 to 30 miles per hour. It is chilly. Wind chills, 25 right now. That's what it feels like here in Indianapolis. So a huge difference, Lindsay, compared to yesterday. We had the AC on yesterday in the car. Now you may be switching to the heat this morning.
I know, it was like so hot you couldn't even open the windows yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a wild ride over the past 24 hours. Hey, we're back to one more seasonal temperatures as we enter into our Monday morning rush. And we've got a crash that we've been following out here on the east side. I want to get you posted on. This is a semi-involved crash. As you can see here, we've got an overturned semi in the ditch off of I-70 eastbound. So that would be leaving the city in between Mithofer Road and German Church Road. So you see we got this tow truck that's now on scene. Wanted to take this over to the maps and show you where this is located out here on the east side of town. If you are leaving, there's I-465, I-70. It is just east of that junction there on the east side of town. So we got that right lane that is blocked. Now this is not causing a major backup. I do have a camera that I'm going to fire up that's located just east of there. This is going to be looking toward the city. So the accident would be right about here, and we would start to see some backups building. So not a major issue from a traffic flow standpoint, but certainly something to keep in mind if you are traveling out on the east side of town this morning. Guys?
And we do begin with the developing story here this morning. 2 people are dead and dozens others injured early this morning in a crash on the tarmac at New York's LaGuardia Airport.
Yeah, we now know at least 41 people were hurt. This was just before midnight last night. I'll show you some of the video on this chaotic scene where, according to the New York Fire Department, an Air Canada plane was landing when it collided with a Port Authority fire truck. The pilot and the co-pilot were killed. 2 Port Authority police officers were hurt.
We know there were 76 passengers and 4 crew members on board. Again, 41 of them taken to the hospital, some with very serious injuries, we're learning. The investigation into what caused the collision is underway. We are hearing from the Associated Press that that airport is expected to be closed for hours today, perhaps until late this afternoon. We've seen 1 or 2 flights out of Indy this morning canceled or delayed, so check that out if you're heading out this morning.
Like the earliest flight that was not canceled wasn't until 5 p.m. today, so even those early afternoon flights are canceled this morning. 6:05 now. Across the country, long lines at TSA checkpoints is still what so many travelers are walking into. It's been a month now, more than a month, since the start of the partial government shutdown that has caused this. Airport security workers are still not getting paid, and more of them are starting to call out or just quit altogether. Today, the president is trying a new tactic to help deal with this issue.
He says he is sending ICE agents into airports across the country to help TSA officers. The White House saying that they will not be doing actual security screenings. Instead, they'll help with those exit lanes or check passengers' IDs at check-in.
Travelers say while they want TSA agents to get the help they need, they're concerned about this plan.
Putting ICE in there just, to me, elevates tensions unnecessarily. People may be afraid to fly because they think they're going to get seized or detained.
Well, federal officials say about 10% of TSA workers nationwide are calling out to work. More than 400 have quit. 13 News did reach out to both ICE and the Indianapolis airport to give you an idea what you may be walking into. Both tell us that they are currently no plans to have ICE agents providing any TSA coverage in Indianapolis, at least. President Trump says that he will not make a deal on funding the Department of Homeland Security unless his Save America Act passes. And this bill would tighten federal voting requirements. The president says it's the most important piece of legislation before the Senate right now.
The U.S. Senate did vote yesterday to advance the nomination of Markwayne Mullin for Homeland Security Secretary. That vote, 54-37. Democratic Senator John Fetterman and Martin Heinrich crossed party lines in the procedural vote. A final confirmation vote on Mullin's nomination could come as early as today. Well, this week is now starting after a violent weekend here in Indianapolis.
The numbers are scary. At least 10 people were shot. We know that at least 3 of them died. Anna Chalker's in studio this morning, walking us through all of these investigations. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. And all of these come after a message we've heard and we've shared from IMPD time and time again, that there are better ways to solve conflicts than pulling out weapons, especially in fights. And take a look at this map. I'm going to show you this. This is where all those shootings happened over the weekend. The most recent on Indy's near northwest side, near Riverside Park. Police say they found a man shot in the neighborhood and then he was taken to the hospital. But hours before this one, 3 people were shot outside of a home on Tacoma Avenue. 1 man died and 2 women were injured in this. And IMPD and witnesses tell us this happened during a house party and say this is nothing new for the neighborhood.
It was crazy because it was such a chaotic moment.
It's better than what it used to be. I mean, used to be a lot of, drug houses and all that, Sometimes you hear gunshots.
According to public police reports, no arrests have been made in this triple shooting on Tacoma Avenue, but you are asked to reach out to police if you have any information on this one. And another major shooting from the weekend that we are following. It happened outside of a church at a funeral, just really so hard for the family that was already there, and now this other family. So coming up, we'll outline that investigation, but also what the pastor is saying to the ones who were there and committed that act of violence.
And we know police always kind of watch the trends of when the weather gets warmer, and that might be, contributing.
Yeah, more people were out, more people hanging out in large groups, so definitely it could be a factor in all of these.
Anna, thanks.
And this is another shooting that was just on that map as well that IMPD is investigating on the east side. This is where officers found someone shot around 9 p.m. on North Euclid Avenue near 21st and Sherman. Now, police aren't sharing many details in this case, but they do say that the victim was being uncooperative with the investigation and probably a part of the reason why they don't have many details to pass along. Indiana State Police did arrest a California man this weekend after seizing 100 pounds of meth from his semi-truck.
So a state trooper stopped the semi Saturday for routine inspection on I-70 near Cloverdale. Police say they developed probable cause to then search the truck. They found a gun and meth. They say it's worth about $500,000.
The driver is a 33-year-old man from San Bernardino, California, but he's now in the Putnam County Jail facing preliminary drug charges. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. Winter rush right back into central Indiana. It feels like we're in the 20s with those gusts out of the north. Cameras shaking this morning in downtown. We're at 36, but we're dropping. We also have some traffic incidences. Lindsay's going to have an update on that. I want to let you know we're going back to the 80s temporarily. A bunch more swings on the way. We'll time everything out for you coming up.
And those windy conditions we had yesterday afternoon caused a fire to damage 2 homes. Hear from the man who was alerting homeowners to the danger.
Time is running out on the president's threat to Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. What Iran is now responding to and saying it'll do if Trump does follow through on the threats.
Good morning. It is cold and breezy out there. Plus, there's been a little bit of drizzle and maybe even a stray snowflake this morning. Wind chills in the 20s, but we're going to climb back to some low 50s briefly later today with more sunshine later. Hey, good morning. Overnight last night, colder air just kept rushing in. We're in the 30s this morning, wind chills in the 20s, lots of clouds and a lot of wind. The winds will gradually back off a little bit today as the skies clear. Enjoy more sunshine later. Good morning. It is cold and breezy and it's pretty cloudy this morning, but clouds will gradually break. More sun is on the way later today. We'll top out in the low 50s and then we'll keep warming up. We may hit the 80s again by Thursday.